Hello again, friends. Welcome into Gamecock Central Radio. Emerson Phillips joined by Chris Clark. A big recruiting announcement today. The Gamecocks landing a 2017 commitment from quarterback Jake Bentley. Chris, talk about Bentley's commitment. Not a huge surprise that the Gamecocks land him based on the fact that his father, Bobby Bentley, is the Gamecocks running backs coach. But Jake Bentley, one of the top quarterbacks in high school football in America, and he's got offers from all over the country.
Yeah, it's a substantial pickup. And you're right, Emerson. I mean, not a huge surprise in terms of Bentley ending up at South Carolina. Really not even a surprise in terms of the timing. It's really been looking increasingly over the past few weeks, that Bentley maybe would target a decision sooner than later. Interestingly, he's picked a college before he's absolutely hammered down or really announced, where he's going to be playing high school ball or what his situation will be for next season. But that, will all be worked out in time. But he just saw what he needed at South Carolina. The interesting thing is, his father's on staff, and that no doubt helped. But Will Muschamp and Kurt Roper, really tried to separate that situation and just, try to handle Bentley's recruitment themselves. Muschamp was heavily involved with it. Roper was heavily involved, and they tried to sell Bentley on playing for South Carolina just for his own reasons. The offense and the opportunity to compete. It definitely helped having Bobby Bentley on staff, of course, and Bentley, Jake Bentley has those ties to the Palmetto State, having come up in the Burns system, playing for Burns, and then, of course, having a lot of familiarity with the South Carolina program growing up here, and with his father on staff, that certainly helped. But he just became very comfortable with the program. He had offers, like you said, Emerson, from all over the country, and big pickup.
Yeah, as far as Jake's recruitment at South Carolina is concerned, all accounts are that Bobby stayed out of the way. Dad wasn't much involved, and Coach Muschamp, Coach Roper worked with Jake in recruiting him. So Jake Bentley announcing today that he will play for South Carolina next year. So talk about Jake as a football player. Chris, what kind of assets does he have? What are some of his attributes, and how can he help Gamecock football?
Well, he just checks off any of those boxes that you look for in a quarterback prospect. And we all know that having an excellent quarterback at any level, but, speaking specifically about college football, it can just be a difference maker for you, for your program. Having a very good or a great quarterback can separate you from an average or a good team into potentially a great team. So it's a hugely important position. The trigger man for the offense, leading the team, making decisions, making all the throws. And Bentley's just well equipped to do that at the college level. Playing quarterback is so much more than just a guy being able to spin the ball or having size or having a good arm. There's so many different things that go into it with intangibles and intelligence, being coachable. And Bentley has a lot of those things. He's a coach's son. He understands running an offense, helping lead a team. He knows how to do those things. He's intelligent. He's coachable. But you also do have to have the physical talent, and he's got that. He's got size. He can make all the throws that will be required in the offense. He's more mobile than people give him credit for. Is he going to be an absolutely electric open field runner? No, not at the college level. But he can certainly run the zone read that South Carolina is going to want to do. He can scramble. He can escape. And he's got the size to where he can pack on some mass and be a bigger quarterback and even enhance his arm strength once he gets into a college program. So there's a lot to like there about Jake Bentley. And especially after South Carolina, was able to bring in Brandon McElwain in January. Now that's really 3 straight 4-star quarterbacks that South Carolina signed when you factor in Lorenzo Nunez the cycle before. So their goal has been to add more talent, more competition in that position, and Jake Bentley is a big step towards doing that.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the Gamecocks have upgraded talent at the quarterback position. Obviously, this is big news. Jake Bentley committing to the Gamecocks today. Chris Clark here with me, Emerson Phillips on Gamecock Central Radio to talk about it. Chris, Bobby Bentley was hired just a couple of months ago to work at South Carolina. He had been at Auburn, and Jake had actually been attending Opelika High School in Alabama, and you mentioned early in the show today that he's expected to return to Columbia for his senior year of high school, and I know that high school fans here in the Midlands in particular are very curious to know where Jake might attend high school and play high school ball his senior year. So what's the latest on that, and when can we expect some sort of announcement on that?
Yeah, I mean, the last time that I had a chance to talk to Jake about it, whatever his plans may be, he's got a few options there that he could choose, and he just hasn't nailed down or finalized that decision. Still working through some things. We don't know if he'll end up in Columbia in some capacity. We don't know if he'll end up staying in Alabama in some capacity. They're still working through all that. I would imagine we'll know sooner than later. I would think. His goal has been to maybe announce something sometime in March, and obviously we're getting towards we are at the latter part of the month here in March, and nothing's been announced yet. So we don't know yet. That was his goal, but he's still working through that and trying to figure it out. So nothing new at this time on that front.
Okay, and he's still got a couple of months left, and this is junior year of high school, so it is still a possibility he could remain at Opelika in Alabama, but there's speculation that he could come to Columbia for his senior year. So this is something we'll continue to follow very closely here on Gamecock Central. Big news today, quarterback Jake Bentley, 6'3", 211 pounds, commits to the Gamecocks for next year. Chris Clark joining us for the update today. Chris, we appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Emerson.
All right, he's Chris Clark, and I'm Emerson Phillips, and this is Gamecock Central Radio. Thanks for joining us.